if I sit here as the Minister of Youth and Sports, but I sit here as one of you. My success is your success. My failure is your failure. Many a time we've talked about the need for us to have somebody who appreciates the work we do, who appreciates sports, who has been in sports. Even though it is said that it is not all good footballers who become good coaches. It is expected that when you have been in it before and done it before, at least the required basic knowledge is there. So the little that you learn and the little contribution you get from others will empower you and give you the needed knowledge in order to advance. So with the background I have, it is important that we all appreciate the fact that you have made it possible for me to be where I am. A lot of you people have made the noise about the need for somebody like me to be considered for this position in the past. And His Excellency the President have listened to you. So if he has listened to you, then it is incumbent upon you to support, to make sure that the reason for his choice is realized. I'm also saying this based on the fact that a lot of us have also been responsible for the level of attrition at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. President Kufuor's time, we had close to 7 ministers of youth and sports. In President Mills and Mahama's administration, we've had close to 8. So within 8 years, we're having 15 ministers. I would say that within 16 years, we're having 15 ministers, which is not good enough for all of us as a country. Longevity gives you more experience. I always want to quote my late president, my late father, Officer Mills, who said that knowledge is nothing but a collection of experiences. So even the ones that we read in books, all these books are experiences of others that they put together. And I said, if we've had this experience behind us, it is important that we try as much as possible as a country. If we think that is not good for us, then we must do everything possible now to make sure that we have a youth and sports minister who will stay longer than usual. I am not the most intelligent person when it comes to youth and sports, and I will certainly not pretend to be the best. But I think I have what it takes to be able to embark upon the needed programs, actions, and policies in order to salvage our sports, and also to galvanize our youth to achieve what are expected of them in the development of this country. But then I cannot do it alone. If I have experienced hands like my brother Kamaiwa as the president of SWAC, I know the issue of sports will be solved. Because we come this far. Those days, and Nimale is sitting back there. And I said Samir Wudokan is a veteran. Yes, he is a veteran. Yes, we all started together. The likes of Imana Wakum still around. Felix Abate around. It's a pity. Our friends Papa Peso and the rest. I think this will have been the greatest. This thing for them. That seeing one of them today in this position will be great. And as such, I will be counting on the support of SWAC. I will be counting on your support, not in terms of a bias. I think you will not be doing me good if the Sports Writers Association decides that for everything Nii Lante does, we'll give him credit. I will want to have critical, objective analysis of whatever we do, in order for us to be able to appreciate the path ahead. And I want to be frank with you, the path before us is very challenging. 2 weeks at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, if I should open up the ministry to you, some of you will leave this place. You ask me why have I accepted to take this responsibility. But someone needs to take it. Someone needs to take it. After this formal section, I will want to put off the microphones and I will want us to have frank discussion. I will tell you what it is like in the ministry for us to discuss it. And I'm not ashamed about that. I am a man who faces challenges. I face problems. I like to face tasks, difficult tasks. Because the more difficult the task is, it gives you the opportunity to bring out the best in me. I don't like comfort zones. As a player, I always want to tackle the best player. If you ask Abedi Pele, will tell you. When people think that it is almost impossible, that's when I try to do my best. At the end of it all, I do what I have to do. I do with all my heart, I do with all my belief, and I do with all the energy in me. And I said, even though the task ahead of us look very daunting, I'm very confident that with people like you supporting, we'll be able to see it through. What I'm looking forward to is that every day, in and out, there is one problem or the other. And I want us to sit down as a family to discuss those problems. Then we can all discuss the way forward. You are not running the ministry for me though, but the issue is that I want to be able to move along with you so that you appreciate the problem ahead of us. Then when you are talking about it or writing about it, you have knowledge as to what the problems are and the reasons why we've taken this action. I wouldn't want a situation whereby after I've embarked upon something, then various media houses will be calling me to comment on the issue. As much as possible, I want to reduce my interaction in my face, my voice in the media, and then let the work go on. So that once I've interacted with you at a SWAT level, and you understand why the policy has been embarked upon, then you will now be the ones who will be educating the public. You will be the ones who will be telling the public why this, why that. So that it won't be every time my voice out there. I don't believe that in this current dispensation, it's a matter of just going to the Olympics, because the Olympic society is not about who really wins. But then, the day we find ourselves, if it is only even one athlete that we can take to the Olympics and make an impact, I would prefer that one than going with a large contingent that almost turn out to become holiday making and holiday event. The government's intention and the ministry's intention is to, as much as possible, canvas for private investors to partner government and Ghanaians partner Ghana as a country to see how best we will be able to improve upon sports infrastructure in this country. Mr. President, let me say that it's not just a matter of, when we say sports infrastructure, people look at the stadium. I am looking at the long-term vision of us having the first sports auditorium that will have swimming, weightlifting arena, gymnastics arena, and all these events as we see elsewhere. If Congo has done it, we should be able to do it. This morning, just before coming here, I've had a meeting with the Chinese ambassador and exploring the possibility of getting a Chinese grant to build our auditorium, sports auditorium, a sports dome. I've had contact with the 10 partners. I've had a discussion with somebody at Talo. I've had a discussion with somebody at Gridco, and we are seeing how we can get any of these corporate institutions to partner us in having the first indoor auditorium in this country. Thanks be to God, we having this sponsored boxing gymnasium. It's not just going to be for boxing. We shall have basketball, volleyball, and 5-a-side football pitches around it, so that we can improve upon night life in Central Accra. I have been to the Western region recently to see a wonderful beach soccer pitch that was built by the Youth Beach Foundation. And what I saw there, ladies and gentlemen, if we should give a little bit of support to the Beach Soccer Federation, I'm sure we can construct close to about 100 or 200 of those pitches along our coastal line. So we'll be looking at Ho, we'll be looking at Kofodia, we'll be looking at Sunyani, we'll be looking at Bolgatanga. In the next few years, it is the intention that government will partner the private sector to develop, build and to develop new ultra-modern sports infrastructure in every regional capital. But as much as possible, we will be courting the private sector in this. That brings me to the question of the maintenance. Because somebody will say, no need your the more coming to me here. And then I'm going it means that what we have, we are not maintaining them well. How much more we have? Why would we want to have more? The truth of the matter is that if you give birth to a child found to have a disability, that will not stop you from giving that child a name. And in Ghana, we say that if you carry gunpowder, it doesn't mean you cannot smoke the pipe. What we have to take, the action we have to take in order to salvage the image of our, or the integrity of our sports infrastructure, we have to. And I can assure you, Mr. President, I will seriously pursue this with the National Sports Authority. Anybody found culpable of having, let me say, been negligent in a way to have caused the deterioration of our sports infrastructure will be made to answer. The ministry is broke. And Mr. President, I'm saying this because tomorrow somebody will accuse me of not saying it as it is when I assume office. So he may think that I'm giving excuses. I need your support in order to let people appreciate the difficulties we have. Our total budget for the year approved by Parliament is 22 million Ghana cedis. Out of this 22, 11 million is compensation, means salaries of workers, not only of the ministry, but of all the agencies under us, like the Sports College, the youth sectors, and the National Sports Authority. 4 million is for goods and services. So what is left to undertake all sports programs in the year is only 7 million. The budget for the national teams alone is about 42 million Ghana cedis. We will need close to almost about 26 million cedis for our Olympic team to go to Rio. How do we manage? It will call for prudence, it will call for ingenuity, it will call for support. And you are the ones who can draw this for us. We want to seek your support to get a corporate body out there to come to our aid. If we continue to paint a negative picture for sports, in fact, note that the budget is not only for sports, it's for youth and sports. So if we take out the ones we have to give for our youth training centers for their programs, the National Youth Authority, just about 4 million will be left for sports. The Black Maidens and upcoming Blasters Mozambique match alone will chop all the 4 million. I'm being frank with you. And that's why for the past weeks been saying that I don't and I will not determine issue of bonuses for sports in this country. I'm not talking, and I want to be very careful of this. I said for sports, men and women. So the boxers will have to get bonus. The black maidens, the people who are competing, the judoists, the weightlifters, all of them, they have to get bonuses. If we don't have the money, what do we do? So my policy is that we say it as it is, all of us sit down as a family, we discuss it with all the sports federations, the sports authority, the National Youth Authority, the Universal Sports College, our youth centers, we all sit down and say, ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 million. How do we share it? So that if boxing will get 10 cities, if boxing will need 1 million for their programs and they have 10 cities, they go looking for the rest of the money from corporate sponsorship and from other activities in order to supplement. Because it will be suicidal for me as a minister to oversee a situation whereby one particular discipline will virtually swallow all the money we have to the detriment of other disciplines. Because in Ghana we say something, we cannot tell, as we see today, which sporting discipline tomorrow will be giving Ghana the gold at the Olympics. We cannot tell. It could happen that swimming, it could happen that judo, it could happen in any form. It could even happen that all of a sudden our 100 meters runner go to the Olympics. All the favorites get muzzle pull and he wins the gold. Or somebody get disqualified. So it must not be within our power to determine which sporting discipline should be supported and which one should not be supported. But in the same vein, I'm meeting all the sports federation heads together with the Ghana Olympic Committee. And Mr. President, I want to place it on record that elsewhere, sports have been categorized. And we need to look at it in Ghana to know the category A sporting disciplines, B, C. And then we do promotion and demotion. So that if there is a sport in category C, but the people within that sporting discipline are so determined and doing their work very well, promoting their sport and achieving a lot for us, then we promote that discipline to category B. So if there is somebody in category A who is not pulling his weight and sitting down because he's getting all the support all the time, for example football, and he's not doing well, we drop into category B. So that it will promote and engender competition among the sports federations and then make them active. Because some of the sporting federations, and let me say, some of them are really doing their best. In spite of support, they go out there themselves and seek private support. They engage in their own competitions. They are doing their own youth development programs. And not being biased. I would say, for example, weightlifting. We built our own gym. We built our own gym. Some came from my pocket, some came from my current president's pocket, some came from my vice president, Titi Bades, and we built our own gym. Because we're having difficulty. And I've seen swimming doing a lot. The president doing a lot. The president of fencing, Madi, doing a lot for the sport. Next week, I think he is inviting us to visit the new fencing gym that they built out of their own resources. And these are the things I'm talking about. So that if we see that a sport like that is doing well, let's support that sport by encouraging him and promoting him to another level. It will make him do more. Because the level where we are seeing everybody on the same platform, whilst others are doing their best, going out there fighting, using all their marketing tools to attract sponsorship, others, because they know by all means they will get it, they sit down without doing anything. I think we cannot encourage that. And I can only do that with your support. Because you and I will have to sit down and through our analysis of the various disciplines over the period can say that this sport deserves to be in category A, this one deserves to be in category B. Mr. President, the last issue I want to touch on is the issue, the contentious issue of football. I thank God that a new spirit has entered our local league, and I want to commend the Premier League board for the work they have, and the GFA and the Premier League board for the new spirit. I was happy for the first time this year to have seen our national coach at one of the matches. Look, I'm being critical here, Mr. President. What do you think will happen to that player when he gets to the field and he sees the Black Stars coach sitting there? All of a sudden, that player will be inspired for a possible selection to the national team. That coach, it is incumbent for the Black Stars coach sitting down there to note certain mistakes he is seeing in the technical and tactical play of the teams. Then can call that coach and point out those things. That's the reason why we are paying that much money. I don't believe we just pay him $50,000 for him to come 2 weeks to a match, select the players, play the match, after the match go away, and then he'll be doing jobs on other radio and television stations outside. As for that one, all of us can do it. I am sure that all of us sitting here can draw the Black Star selection for the match, upcoming match today, and the probability of we making mistake will be just 0.0 something. I'm sure that we can draw the selection, and maybe there will be only one change in the selection we make. If that's what it's all about. Because seriously speaking, I don't know what anybody in this world can add to Asamoah anymore. After years, Asamoah knows the penalty area and knows the turf more than any one of us now. So, seriously speaking, I think that we need to look at this issue critically. And I'm saying this because a lot of my colleagues over the week, when I mentioned this, give the platform for people to really give it to me. And I'm happy it was given to me, because then I'm being on the receiving end for some time after having given it out to people in a long time. But I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it, because then I've set an agenda for us to discuss. And I'm happy that the president of the FA came out the following week, also in the newspapers, to talk about the city. When we met, I asked him whether he believed in what he said, and Mr. President assured me that he shared my sentiment, and he has also talked to the coach about it. And that's why I'm happy that I saw him at the over the weekend. I hope he will go to Techima, he will go to Buku, he will go to the rest of the places. He was here yesterday. Yeah. That's good. There's a new spirit, but another to succeed. I thank you so much for your patience. I thank you so much. So far, let me say, I want to thank all of you for the wonderful support you've given me since the announcement. Somebody in the presidency told me he's followed political history in this country for long. He's never heard of any political announcement that has received such an overwhelming support from the length and breadth of this country. And it's as a result of your support. And thank you. But to whom much is given, much is expected.